It's 12:24 a.m. I'm up really late. I've just been compelled to draw out this floor plan right here for the house and adding a shipping container, which is what I heard the Lord tell me He wanted me to do, and to do it quickly. There it is. There's the whole floor plan. I just drew the container part right over there. And I hear the TV, and I've been praying, Lord, is this what you really wanted me to do or want me to do? Look what comes on as soon as I finish drawing it.
PackRat, we bring the storage facility to you. That's right. Just give PackRat a call, and before he can blink, we'll have one of our bright and shiny steel containers lowered right in the old driveway.
Look what came down my street. What are the odds? Right in front of my house. I was like, how am I going to get that thing in the backyard? Lord, show me what to do. You know, I was told to put the container in the backyard with a crane. It's kind of like the Church of Philadelphia that gets picked up and set back down the New Jerusalem. And check this out. Look what comes on now. This is just crazy what's in the scene. Look what's right in front. That's crazy. That's just like the crane that's coming to set the container down. Revelation 3:10. Because you've kept the patience of my word, I will keep you from the hour of testing. Amen. So, the Bible says that faith without works is dead. What that means is you don't try and work your way into the kingdom, but to show your faith, sometimes God requires you to step out and He'll show you what He wants you to do. In this case, He told me, I want you to get a shipping container, put Revelation 3:10 on it. I want you to lift it up and set it in the backyard. And that's a representation of Revelation 3:10. The New Jerusalem being picked up and set back down, the bride of Christ. And so this is my work of faith that the Lord told me to do. And here we go. This is it. So this is an interesting little thing that just happened. There was a wasp nest on top of the container in one of those holes. And so I just went and killed him, and I came over and we were talking about it, and he said, you know, I was on this other job and there's a whole tree and it was hollow, and he said we were starting to take the tree down and all these things just came out and the sky turned black. It's like, okay. Does that sound familiar? Now look, here's the number 3140 on the crane. Well, I photographed it, and then Dave the Wave thought just to look it up, the concordance meaning of 340, see? 3140, the word, the Strong's Concordance 3140. It means to bear witness and to testify. And so he was led to look up the number of the crane that came down my street. So I did what he said. I purchased the container. By the way, thanks to y'all. This wouldn't be happening unless you guys helped get this done. For everyone that helped, God bless you, and thank you for being part of this. This is part of history, guys. This is part of the biblical story right now that's still being written. It's like an Old Testament story is what it's like. So anyway, so we picked it up and we set it down here in the backyard. Well, that's a representation of Revelation 3, the Church of Philadelphia and the New Jerusalem. And it says, I will keep you from the hour of testing that shall come upon the whole world to test them that dwell on the earth. Okay, well, the Church of Philadelphia is called the New Jerusalem. And then the Bible says in Revelation 3, and I will give you the name of my God and the city of my God, which is New Jerusalem, which cometh down out of heaven. Okay, so this box is a representation of the New Jerusalem that got picked up off the earth and is kept from the hour of testing, and then is set down on a restored earth. Look at Revelation 21. It says, and I, John, saw the New Jerusalem coming down out of heaven, adorned as a bride. So oddly enough, this is a representation of the bride of Christ that gets picked up, the New Jerusalem, and then taken out when then the wrath comes, and then the bride is set down on. I saw a new heavens and a new earth, and I saw the New Jerusalem coming down out of heaven, adorned like a bride. What's really odd is, and this isn't that previous testimony, but I'm going to do it again to reiterate. The very next day, the guy, Chad, called me back and he said, hey, Mr. Kleck, listen, instead of putting one at 8 feet and one at 10 feet, he said, could you put one at 9 and 11? 9/11, and I'm just going like, are you kidding? They just put the big bug poster over my house. And I told everybody, the Lord's telling me, I'm sorry, that 9/11 is coming. The angel of the bottomless pit is going to open. The pit's going to open, and there's going to be locusts that come out of that pit, and they're going to sting humans, and it's going to be a supernatural, Satan's army birthing out of the pit. That's what's going to happen. So anyway, when this guy called me back and told me, hey, I want you to put the second and third set of posts at 9 and 11, I was like, you got to be kidding. I even recorded it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Chad. So one at 9, one at 11, right?
Correct.
Okay, and that's from you said 9 and 11, right?
Right.
Now think about this for a sec. The front of the house has these 3 red head symbols on it that are made out of clay. I mean, that's crazy. And they're in the same orientation as the crosses in Calvary. 2 on each side, 1 up higher in the middle. It's the same orientation. 3 head symbols together is 888 in Jewish gematria, which is the name Jesus. And so on the front of the house is his name. Now in the container is his name. It's like, what? Who could even think this up? So in the container now is the name Jesus on the inside. The other day on the 28th, dining table. See it right there, June 28th? I started looking for a dining room table because the Lord told me, Jonathan, I want you to put a dining room table in it. And I said, okay, could you confirm that? Well, I didn't give my confirmation, that night. And the next day I was walking out the door to my house, and I heard the Lord very clearly say, call Kat, and I will confirm to you using Kat what I'm doing, what I want in that container. I called Kat up on the phone. Now look at the date, 6/29/17. Well, watch. I was looking at the table on June 28th, and I said, Kat, look, I can't tell you what the deal is, but the Lord told me to call you, and he would confirm to me what he's doing, and we're just going to cast a lot. And Kat said, okay. And these are the words that came up. So the first time we cast a lot, it was depart, departure, deliverance, set free, liberation, liberate. And I said, okay, yeah, because I knew that's what we're doing. We're getting ready to depart. We're getting ready to leave. We're getting ready to be set free, deliverance, liberation. And then I knew that he said he was going to confirm he wanted a dining room table. And so then Kat cast another lot, and this is what it said, round table. And I was like, oh my gosh. Well, the dining room table I looked at, there was a rectangular one, and there was a round one. That LED one, it said round LED table. And I was like, that is crazy. Okay, so 100% truth. And when you said round table, I was like, oh my gosh. And then I sent you an email showing you I was looking at round tables the night before. Is that right?
Yes.
All right. Perfect. All right, Kat, thanks. Then I was looking for furniture, and I called Dave the Wave up, and I was in the furniture store. I said, yeah, Dave, I'm here at the furniture store. The Lord communicated to me what to do, that I'm supposed to get a round table. And then out of nowhere, I heard the Lord say, I want it octagonal. I want an octagon-shaped table. And I was like, wow, that's so weird. So I said it to Dave on the phone. I said, wow, now he's saying make it octagon shape. Let me show you what the meaning of this octagon thing is. You remember the isotoxyl star that Beyonce had on her stomach? The Lord told me look it up, and it was edge transitive, and and she had twins in her stomach, and it says it's isotoxyl, which means edge transitive, where one edge turns to the other while leaving the region occupied unchanged, which is like inside of us. We are becoming our own evil twin. That's what's happening. And so for an octagon to be double edge transitive is extremely odd. On this very back wall, the Lord told me it was to be a mirror, the entire thing. Well, it says the most common symmetry octagons are P8. Okay, P8 right here, which is what I'm putting in the container. An isogonal octagon constructed by 4 mirrors. Mirrors can, now I had no idea about any of this definition when the Lord told me to put the mirror in. Constructed by 4 mirrors can alternate long and short edges. And D8 is isotoxyl octagon constructed with equal edge lengths, but vertices alternating 2 different internal lengths. These 2 forms are duals of each other and have half the symmetry order of the regular octagon. So there's some very interesting geometrical realities to the octagon. At first I was like, okay, I'm supposed to put a round table in there, and then the Lord refined it. He says, I want it to be octagonal. Okay, round, but now make it octagonal. In a wedding setup, here's a wedding, a common setup for a wedding. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, wow. So there's 12 tables with 8 people at each table at a wedding reception. Is your mind blown yet? So the Lord told me I want an octagon shaped round, first round, and then he refined it to octagonal. There are these round tables that have eight seatings, and I was told to put an octagonal shaped table in there and then to do the whole back wall in a mirror. I believe this is my last great act of faith, to put a whole shipping container in your backyard. Let me show you the first thing I started working on when I started my art gallery before I got saved. I would buy a big octagon with like a 5-foot diameter, and I would start carving images on it with a grinder, and I would use light as my medium. I told you light was my medium. The Bible says Jesus is the light of the world. The Bible says where his light shines, it exposes their evil deeds. So even in my artwork, the Lord was in control of every bit of it before I got saved. And now he told me I want an octagon-shaped dining room table in the container. That's mind-boggling. I'm going to do exactly what he says, and I'm doing it right now. Now, we're actually further along than this actually shows. We've got the posts installed. The deck has been finished. The symbolic meaning of the number 8, circumcision, the sign of God's covenant. So this is what's going in the container. This is my covenant which you shall keep between me and you and thy seed after thee. Every man-child among you shall be circumcised. You shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin. It shall be a token of the covenant betwixt me and you. And he that is 8 days old shall be circumcised among you, every man-child in your generations. He that is born in the house or bought with money of any stranger which is not of thy seed. Okay, so the historic church has traditionally associated the number 8 with entrance into the covenant. The number 8, entrance into the covenant of God. How amazing that that's what's going into this container. 3 head symbols that are red. An octagonal shaped dinner table. This understanding comes from God himself, who commanded circumcision, the sign of the covenant, to be performed on the 8th day. God used the same language right here, Ot Berit, sign of the covenant, which he gave the rainbow. The word rainbow, cassette, used in this verse sums the number 800, which also is the value of the Greek words Lord and faith. It is also the value of the final letter of the Greek alphabet, Omega. This is the essence of faith, trusting in the Lord who will see us through to the very end, signified by the Omega. That's what an octagon means? That's mind-boggling. This lifts us above our present state to behold our shepherd, who is Lord above all. And it also represents a new beginning in the resurrection of the Lord. And when 8 days were accomplished for the circumcision of the child, his name was called Jesus. Wow, and 3 head symbols are going inside the container, which means Jesus with an octagon. I mean, come on, guys. The number 888. Look, Jesus, the salvation of our God. 888. That's the same as the symbols on the front of this house.